Alright, if the dollar fails, you'll be glad you have silver, gold, Bitcoin, or anything else that can't be created. You won't like how the world looks in that case, though. What will happen is not going to be pretty. However, it is likely that countries will split up and new ones will form. There will also be countries with rule of law that protect goods and people's rights, and people who are good at their jobs will move there. The Bitcoin bubble stands out because it is clear and easy to understand. There's no limit to who can join, no matter how much they know about crypto or how new they are to it. Guess who is watching us now? Robert Kiyosaki is the author of the best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad. We'd also like to use this chance to thank everyone who put their trust in us. And we read all of them. It's also free, which is great. If you sign up now, you'll get all the new information for free. Stay ahead of the trends instead of just following them. Sign up for Bitcoin Bubble right now and enjoy the new edge. James Lavish and Larry Lepard talk about the financial disaster that both of them think is coming. Why does the Fed feel trapped? There is a debt bomb going off. Why Bitcoin will do better than gold? Will the Fed let there be a recession? The drop in demand for US bonds around the world over the past few years is one of the problems we've seen. And especially long-term treasuries is that, when we took and frozen Russian assets and treasuries, we did something incredibly stupid. That sent a message to the world that if you do something we don't like and you're not a close ally of the United States, we might take your toys away. You can say that we take your money. So, the world was told to be wary of owning and believing the government, especially the US government and long-term treasuries. Such a huge waste of time. That could have been the worst thing this government has ever done. It turned the dollar into a weapon, used the bank and the dollar as weapons. Yes, it was so stupid, and it's going to hurt. That's one reason these sovereigns have turned to gold and bricks. They're not bricks. I don't think is trying to start their own currency. Their only goal is to find a way to do business and trade with other countries without having to own us funds. How are we going to do that? On the other hand, gold is not a good long-term answer for that. That's not a good problem to have because gold-backed currencies make it hard for them to tell how much gold you add. Can you see present? Xi and Putin both let their agents check their stores for gold and count it to make sure they had enough. That's not going to happen, of course. What else could they do? Coin would work for that. Russia has been beating the drums about how they will accept Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. We'll see how much of that holds true and if they aren't out there digging or doing something else. For the long run, I think that foreign countries and sovereigns should put Bitcoin on their balance sheets. There is a lot of proof that they are mining in Siberia. And this is how games work. This is where game theory and who they are coming to play. And if you're afraid about Bitcoin hurting the US dollar, it's not true. It could save it. That's the whole point. Len Sasiman, a computer scientist who fought for privacy and died recently, is suddenly getting a lot of attention as people talk about the upcoming HBO documentary that claims to reveal the name of the person who created Bitcoin. There was no way to know for sure if Sasiman was the real Satoshi Nakamoto. It is possible to read information about Leonard Harris Sasiman's early life. In his home state of Pennsylvania, he went to a private school called Tony, and according to several reports, was a cryptography genius. At the time, Sasiman was in his late teens and was pulled to San Francisco, California. There, he met the cypherpunks who were early adopters of computer privacy who started a movement in the late 1980s. He went on to study under David Chaum, who invented blockchain. Some of the things Sasiman worked on were the Pretty Good Privacy Program and its follow-up, GNU Privacy Guard. He started the SaaS company Osigato with his wife, computer scientist Meredith Patterson. Sasiman killed himself on July 3, 2011, when he was 31 years old. He was a graduate student in electrical engineering at the Catholic Universiteit Leuven in Belgium. In block 138,725 of the Bitcoin blockchain, a tribute to him was written. Patterson and Sasiman got married in 2006 and stayed married until his death. Patterson herself has said she doesn't think her husband was Satoshi Nakamoto. The idea that Sasiman was really Nakamoto is supported by some weak proof. There is a long list of publications, conference talks, and other academic work that Sasiman did. This is more than enough to convince someone who isn't an expert that he invented Bitcoin. He talked about financial cryptography all the time and was a member of the International Financial Cryptography Association. There is proof that Sassiman may have invented Bitcoin through linguistic analysis. There was no word from Nakamoto for 2 months before Sassiman died. A second interesting fact is that the $64 billion in Bitcoin that Nakamoto holds has never been touched. I agree with everything you said, but to answer your question about what they could do to mess things up, remember that Roosevelt took the gold in 1933, lowered the value of the dollar by 70% overnight, and used that as a way to start getting out of the slump. To be honest, this is very important to them. I mean, I could easily see the Save the US America, Save the American Dollar Act, which says that people who own gold or Bitcoin must report what they own and pay taxes of 75% to 80% on those things. And and even as far as, I mean, this is why if you don't mind the risk, I think it's fine to buy an ETF. But for me, other than my IRAs, which are the only way I can buy Bitcoin, I think self-sovereignty is very important. This is because just like some countries have said in the past, our currency is shit. We're going to grab all the gold mines and fill our coffers. It would be very easy for the US government to pass a law saying, you know what, let's get our money out. People who own a Bitcoin ETF will send them money, and the government will then own that Bitcoin. Yes? Also, just so you know, you can be sure that Bitcoin would go up 1000% the next day after that happened. Yes. Okay, so it really does go to, not your coins or keys, right? Do I think these people do less than they do? Without a doubt, not. They've sexed me every chance they got for 40 years. They're also bad. I should also say that they are evil. They will do it, though. They'll do it if they can get enough people to join and find a good reason to do it. Thompson wrote on X on October 3rd that buying Bitcoin at its present price range of $61,000 is a no-brainer. He also said that the bigger picture of Bitcoin's price action is very different from how it was when it dropped in the past. It showed how the price of Bitcoin changed on March 5th, 2018, when it hit a new all-time high of $73,700. Thompson pointed out three similar situations in the past where Bitcoin's price dropped and then fell well below its 200-day moving average. Traders use this important technical signal to figure out how strong an asset will be in the medium term. This time, though, BTC jumped quickly off the technical level. Thompson said this was a clear sign that the level wasn't valid because the macro background had changed 180 degrees, which suggests that prices may soon start to rise. However, it seems like a good idea to bid on this spot. As geopolitical tensions rose in the Middle East earlier this week, risky investments like Bitcoin sold off sharply. This happened as Iran took military action against Israel. Worries about how strong the US economy is getting and the fact that no one knows how the November election will turn out have also hurt risk assets. On the other hand, social media posts about October, a name given to October because of its usually bullish crypto price action, have dropped like a rock. This is because markets are still pulling back. Along with Thompson, other experts say that the recent lack of optimism could lead to a short-term bounce. The market goes down in October, which makes people less excited, but it does leave the door open for a comeback. Sandin and founder Maxim Balashev